for the kind invitation for our session today. And let's get our energy pump up for the next 1 hour, where I am going to share with all of you here on how you can increase your business visibility with search engine optimization, or as known as SEO. So before we begin, I would like to set your expectation and to address that if you wish to get more sales for your business and get more and to get your business brand well known compared to your competitor, this is the session where you might want to pay more attention. Let me just introduce myself a little. This is a brief introduction about myself. My name is Samantha, and you can call me Sam. I am the business development consultant for Subway Malaysia, which covers on the northern and also as well as the East Coast region. So how many of you here are aware of where is Malaysia? You can type in Malaysia in the chat room. I basically help to serve on several major areas such as business development, store construction, leasing, and as well as marketing. So I was informed that the crowd for today, my goal for today's session is to share on how you can increase your business visibility by using search engine optimization, or in short, SEO. Today, I am representing as the chapter lead of Google Business Group GBG Georgetown, Malaysia, to share more on this topic. So let me just quickly run through what to expect for today. We are going to touch briefly about the definition of SEO, why your business should have a good SEO job done, and then I am going to share some of the good and the bad example of SEO. Lastly, the key takes away before we take up some questions from the floor, or later on after this session, you can contact me directly via LinkedIn. And do stay until the end of it, because I will share some bonus and also practical tips which you are able to apply it right away in your business. So how many of you here heard of the word SEO before? Let's do some interaction hereby. SEO is a process of optimization your business in order to get more organic traffic search result. This means that it does not involve any paid traffic. It is a procedure where you optimize a few things in your website, which I am going to elaborate more in the next slide. Okay, have you ever thought of what happens when you key in a keyword in search engine bar? You might be searching in Google, Yahoo, Bing, or even Internet Explorer. Well, what you are seeing here now is actually the process when you search a particular keyword in search engine. But I'm not going to confuse you with all this. I'll simplify for you. Say when I search for famous food in Nigeria. So this is the result page that came out. In the red box, as you can see, this shows how many websites that Google found that probably relevant to what you are searching for and how long it takes to reach you. So how many of you here notice this but ignore it? Alright. You will now notice that this is just the first page result. So honestly, how many of you here will be clicking page 2, 3, and next? The chances are pretty low. If you can't find what are you looking in the first page, chances are you will retype or readjust again with the new search terms rather than clicking on the page 2, page 3, and next. So this is what we call as page rank. Every website has their own ranking for particular search term and keywords. And this brings us to our next slide. So the question is, how do you find how do you not only rank in the first page but also be top of the search result as well? Okay, so this is a heat map of customer focus when they are searching for your business details. Okay, let's just use a live example to explain on this heat map. A golden triangle of movement indicates that user attention focus almost exclusively on upper left side of the search engine result, where top first few results are located. So in this heat map comparison, nearly all customers examine the top 4 results as a batch. Alright, the first 4 top results, and 80% of it click on one of those 4 URLs before doing anything else. So along this search, you will realize that most users avoided the Google Ads on the right side of the page and interact more with the Google Ads on the top left of the page. Okay, now does anyone want to make a quick guess on the amount of time it took for your customer to find a desirable result in Google? Evan, maybe you want to give a try? Okay, so based on the study, the time decreased from study average 14 to 15 seconds to a new study average 8 to 9 seconds, which means that you only have 8 to 9 seconds to catch a potential customer attention when they are searching for your business product or services. So this is the golden triangle. So if your website does not show in the top 3 or 4 in the search result, or it is not even at the first page, it's almost like your website doesn't exist. So enough with the highlight of SEO importance, and now let's dive into some SEO common mistakes to avoid, and what are some good practice that you can apply straight away on your business website. The first, there are more than only 5 mistakes in SEO that often business owners make in their website, but I will just point out 5 of them and relate to share with you here. So the first one would be poor written content. Second would be placing text in image. Third will be ignore Google My Business. Fourth will be overlook page title and meta description. And last but not least, the mistake of treating SEO as one-time job. Okay, so mistake number 1, poor written content. Some of the business owners tend to hire low-paid article writer to write for their business. Now, don't get me wrong here. It does not matter how much are you paying, but what matters here is the article content is relevant to what your customer are searching for. For example, if I say search the best food in Colombia near me, so I will be expecting some of the nearby restaurant recommendation, probably some reviews of the food, and how do I get to the restaurants. So what you want to keep in mind here that you don't write content and copy for SEO, but you write it for your target audience. Alright? So too often business try to cram keywords and phrases into web pages or content marketing pieces, but it looks like they are trying too hard. So your focus should be addressing to your customer needs by crafting thoughtful and relevant content, and the SEO should take care of themselves. Okay, so mistake number 2, placing text in images. So often I see important text placed in the CTA button or text in product image. So this will make it hard for a customer to see. So it's easier for you to make something look nice in an image instead of actually coding the effect the effects around the text. So the problem here is that search algorithm look for text, okay, and they can't read the text images inside the image. So please do take note that if you want the customer to search for you easily, avoid placing text in images because it will be too hard for customer to read. And always remember, content is king, and you need to have words on your page to get indexed. Okay, so moving on to our next slide, mistake number 3. You ignore the Google My Business. I'm sure that some of you here heard of Google My Business before, but how many of you here have claimed this free Google listing for your business? You can feel free to type me in the comment section or the chat room. So well done for those that have did it, with Google continuing to place importance on near me searches. The single biggest opportunity for small business is to claim their location and provide all info and answer questions that comes in. So if you wish to know how to claim, at the end of my session I will leave my contact and you can reach out to me. Remember that the site tools helps in SEO. Okay, so moving on. Too many times I see websites with home as the page title. So fixing your page title and adding meta description are such an easy things to correct, and it's so important to SEO. So most website CMS system has the availability to change this by default, but are normally overlooked when a small business owner is building their own website. So meta description can be any length, but Google generally snippet to around 155 words to 160 characters. So it's best to keep meta description long enough that they are sufficiently descriptive, so that we recommend description between say 50 to 160 characters. And you would like to keep in mind that the optimal length will vary depending on situation. So your primary goal should be to provide value and to drive clicks. Okay, so this is the page title. So normally a short description of the link page, as you can see the page title. Meta description, there are the summarize of the content where you will find and click on the link of a page. By optimization page title for SEO, we can increase the possibility that they will be clicked and resulting in more traffic, website traffic. Because at the end of the day, you would like more people to click in your website, right? So with the above in mind, while it's increasingly important that page title and description are optimized for SEO to increase the click-through rate or the CTR, the percentage of impression that result in clicks on URL, it is equally important so that it makes sure your content is the best available and it's easy to understand by your customer. So there's another great example here to avoid doing, which is not to repeat your meta description for the same page title. You see, there's three different page title here, but you are using the same meta description. So every page title should have their own supporting meta description. The article that you written, or if you are to hire someone else to write, it has to be thinking from the customer point of view and what are they searching for. So the keyword here would be relevancy. Okay, we have reached to our last mistake, number 5, which is treating SEO as one-time task. Many small businesses treat SEO as, set it and forgot about it tactic. Many have the impression that with the right amount of technical optimization, their website can achieve SEO friendliness on their own. So this is a wrong misconception because small businesses should continually expand the breadth of their website to accommodate highly relevant content about their products and services, while also leveraging user feedback and reviews. So from time to time, this is not a one-time off job, and you do have to ask for your customer feedback. Remember that your website is not what you want it to be. It's it's to serve what customers are searching for. Okay, so we have done with our 5 mistakes here. So let's move on to our 6 good ideas in SEO. Now that we have talked and walked through about the SEO mistakes, let's shift our focus now on the good practices that you can apply on your business. I hope everyone is following well so far. So let's us proceed with the good ideas of number 1. Okay, so your website needs to be fast enough for your visitor. I repeat, your website needs to be fast enough for your visitor. So while that not be the answer that you're looking for, it's the one that your website visitor will appreciate. So by monitoring your bounce rate in either in Google Analytics or comparable metric trackers and page load time using Chrome extension, page load time, or more extensive trackers, you can continue to enhance your website and better serve your visitor. So you might want to use tips like compressed images, for example, so that your website can load faster. And this is why I highly recommend that making your site load as quickly as possible, especially on mobile devices. It helps to, to cut off the bounce rate. So you might be wondering how fast is fast, or what is your page speed should be. You might want to screenshot this information here, and if your site are able to load in 0.8 seconds, the longer you are able to retain your customer to read your content and to buy from you. All right, so the next question that you might have is, how do I check my mobile or my website speed? Is there any free tools that I can use? The answer is a big yes. Okay, so these are the two free tools that you can use to actually to check your website speed. It is this page speed insight tools or the web page test. You can just Google this for free tools and then you can just use it. Okay. Okay, so moving on to our SEO good idea number 2, the content relevancy is actually really important, and you should be able to think from your customer perspective and to make sure that your content is clean cut, easy to be consumed. So content like product pages, blog posts, articles, a list, guidance, video, infographic, or even slideshow, you have to make sure that the content relevance is important to your audience. Okay, you must also write with the reminder of who is your target audience, what kind of information that they need, why they need the information, and which keywords they are using to find it. So all this, when you have into consideration, you will have this high quality content for your audience. Okay, Improving your site user experience UX can directly and indirectly help with your SEO. Okay, so UX can directly help with SEO because Google knows when people start logo sticking after landing on your site from the search result. So if your site it's quite hard to use, or you have a bunch of broken links, people are not going to link to it. So even if you have great content. So yeah, UX is something that every site owner should pay attention to, because it just so happened that a great UX can give you a SEO a boost too. So you want to make sure that it's user friendly, it's clear, and also comfortable. Okay, this is another great example of the let me just help you with the imagination of a good user experience. So as you can see, the form on the orange color on my left is a good form compared to the bad form on my right, the blue form. So you wanted to make sure that it's straight down. It's a cleaner form, and it ease your customer to fill out that form compared to the bad form on my right, which is the blue color form. There's also another example where I would like to share with you. So which one do you think that would you prefer? It's more comfortable to you. I'm sure that you would pick the one in the right hand side, which is actually a cleaner look, and it's easy to be consumed with for your customer. If the one like like the left hand side, the one that I already crossed, it's hard for me to read compared to the right hand side. Okay, so moving on to our SEO good idea number 4. So it's no secret that if you want to use your keyword a handful of time on your page, but you may not know that the location of your keyword also makes a difference. Alright? Specifically, if you want to mention your main keyword at least one at the top of your page. And why does this matter? Google put more weights on terms that appear at the top of the web page. So as you can see here, there's a primary keyword, secondary keywords, and also additional keywords. Let me show you. This is rather complicated and complex, but it's the right journey in searching for the right keywords. So again, let me simplify for you here by showing some example. Okay, can you see the example here? Okay, this is one good and clear example of placing the right keywords in your content. Notice that the keyword growth and growth are used repeatedly, but in a much more comfortable way. Alright, you see growing, grow, growth. So this is what we call a much comfortable way, and it's easy to be consumed by your customer. In the next slide, I will be showing you the bad example. Okay, see? Can you count how many times cheap flights are repeated? Imagine if you are the customer, or if you are the reader, how do you feel? It's complicated, right? It's so uncomfortable for you to read on, right? Compared to the first one. Okay, so these are the some of it is the free tools that you can use for the keywords. One of it is the Google Keyword Planner, or you can actually use Google Trend to find what are the latest trends that the customer are looking for. And also the Answer the Public also might be a very good source for you to search for the keywords. Alright, let's move on. Always link your website with Google Analytics so that you are able to track who is visiting your page. So through this data, you are able to see your customer demographic and also their buying patterns. So you are able to monitor the activity on your website. By linking, you will have supervision to monitor the activity on your website. So this is where your customer are coming from, and to get to know the bounce rate as well. So this will be a really great help when you want to sell a new product or services. Okay. So again, this is a very good tools to use. You can use Google Analytics. Clicky, it's not free, but it's quite friendly user, and you can also use keys metrics to share on the to track who is actually visiting your page. Okay, so we have moved on to our last SEO good practices for today's session. So you will need always to fix your broken links on your site, because if you have a website, I'm sure that you put a lot of hard work and long hours into making it a valuable resources to your visitor, right? But if your links aren't working, it can put all your effort into a waste. So broken links on your website can be harmful in two ways. If you have broken links, it makes a bad user experience. So when user click on the link and reach a dead end 404 page not found error, they get frustrated and may not even never return. The second harmful ways is they devalue your SEO efforts. So broken links restrict the flow of the link equity throughout your site, which impact ranking negatively. So I trust that you understand the frustration when you click in a link in a particular website, it leads to error 404. Okay, so this is the recap for my session today. It's I briefly touched on the basic understanding of SEO, the importance of SEO, outline of SEO mistakes, what are the good practices of SEO, and some of the useful tools that you can use. Although some of it is a paid one, but you can always leverage on the free tools. All right. So let me share with you on the today session key takes away. You should be able to think from of your product and also services SEO from your customer point of view. So always keep your content updated and relevant. Remember that I mentioned earlier on in my session, you will always want to treat SEO as a repeated job instead of just do once and leave it there. So this is my contact. If you have any other question that you would like me to help, or we can just make a connection in linking. This is my linking handler, and thank you for having me. So I'll pass back to Ivan.
Thank you very much, Samantha. Very interesting.
Thank you, Ivan.
Very interesting. Please, can you tell us CEO will be applicable for every size of company, or you will be think that maybe is more approachable for big business? What do you think about it?
SEO definitely, even small businesses, definitely you can start doing your SEO, because for now, if you have a services or a product that doesn't have a website, it's almost that it doesn't exist in the in the business world. So my advice is to have, even though a simple website, but you need to have your SEO job done. It does not only apply to all the giant, all the big companies, but also apply to the small businesses.
Okay, perfect. Because a lot of businesses and entrepreneurs, for sure, will want to apply all this knowledge. So that is very useful. Mm, what do you think about Google My Business? You have touched the topic that GMB, Google My Business, is very
Mm-hmm.
useful for companies because gives a lot of tools that Google for free. are given to all the businesses, entrepreneurs, and people.
Okay.
What are another approaches, another advantages that you think have an account with Google My Business?
Oh, um, Google My Business definitely is a very great tool, especially if you have a physical store. I would advise and suggest highly recommended uh, for either if you are starting small, if you are small businesses, or even if you are growing slow. You will need to. My suggestion is to apply is to claim that free Google listing so that more customer can reach out to you. With Google My Business, you can actually, I would say, get to know your customer better because through GMB, customer are able to give their feedback. They are able to um, find the latest opening hours of your shop, of your company, especially when the pandemic is hitting us hard now. So you will always wanted to update your company or your business information via Google My Business. That is definitely a must. I would say strongly recommend a must do things to claim that free Google listing from Google My Business.
We could say that everyone should start a strategy with search engine optimization, but how long can take to start to see results?
Okay. Once you have applied, once you have get rid of those, mistakes in SEO and start applying these SEO good practices, it will take. I to be honest, frankly speaking, I don't have a specific time like for how long you can, rank at the first page of the search result. But as long as practice all the good practices tips that I have shared earlier on, you will start to see all the good ranking. People are start noticing about your business. So to for short answer, I do not have like duration how long, but as long as you start practicing all the good tips, your business should be able to reach out to more customer, and the audience or the customer are able to notice your business in when they search in Google or the search engine.